a Berean, like a Berean, where we search the scriptures to see whether those things are so. Let's listen.
Genesis 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, he made him in his own likeness. Male and female he created them, and he blessed them. And in the day they were created, he called them man. When Adam was 130 years old, he had a son in his own likeness, after his own image, and he named him Seth. And after he had become the father of Seth, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. When Seth was 105 years old, he became the father of Enosh. And after he had become the father of Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. So Seth lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he became the father of Kenan. And after he had become the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. So Enosh lived a total of 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, he became the father of Mahalalel. And after he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. So Kenan lived a total of 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel was 65 years old, he became the father of Jared. And after he had become the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. So Mahalalel lived a total of 895 years, and then he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. And after he had become the father of Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So Jared lived a total of 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. And after he had become the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. So Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and then he was no more, because God had taken him away. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. And after he had become the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. So Methuselah lived a total of 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he had a son, and he named him Noah, saying, "May this one comfort us in the labor and toil of our hands, caused by the ground that the Lord has cursed." And after he had become the father of Noah, Lamech lived 595 years, and had other sons and daughters. So Lamech lived a total of 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
The ages. There's something about the ages. After Noah was 500 years old, 5 being the number of grace. After he was 500, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Lamech lived a total of 777 years, the number of completion. And it's so interesting what he declared when he named Noah. He said, "May this one comfort us in the labor and toil of our hands, caused by the ground that the Lord has cursed." And I wonder, how many other fathers made declarations? How many other fathers today make declarations? over their children. This is so powerful because from the beginning of Genesis, we have been seeing how powerful, creative, essential how words are. God said, and it was so. And here, Lamech, it says, and he named him in verse 29, and he named him Noah, saying, may this one comfort us in the labor and toil of our hands caused by the ground that the Lord has cursed. And Noah did. Noah built the ark. So Lamech's lineage continued on the face of the earth, and it just came to me. We are children of Abraham by faith and children of Noah by lineage, really, because after the earth was flooded, only Noah and his family lived. And so all who are on the earth are by lineage of Noah. Lamech declared those words. It says, and he named him Noah, saying, he declared those words. I think this is a very powerful, essential instruction right here when we name our children, of what to declare over them. And not only when we name our children, but when a new project is born, when we begin on a new journey, a new friendship, a new relationship, a new task, a new course, a new job, a new country, a new path, that we declare over it, may this one, you say as the Lord leads, all according to his will and his purpose. And we see it come to pass. Also, with the ages, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Now there are 365 days, except for a leap year, in a year. And, as I listened to the account from verse 5, so Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. Verse 6, so Seth lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. Verse 9, and then he died. Verse 14, and then he died. As I listened to each recount, and you see these years, 910, 895, 962, the reality, it doesn't matter how long the lifespan was, the lives they had lived were, it doesn't matter how many years. The reality was that, and then they died. That is the reality for us too. That's the reality of the punishment of sin, the result of sin and disobedience. And God is gracious. When we sin, there is grace enough. There is grace and mercy. His mercies are new every morning. Great. Not small, not limited, not exhausted, not minute, not insufficient, not self-reliant. Great is his faithfulness. The realities of sin, disobedience, is that there is punishment for it. The reality here is, and then they died. After we've lived, it doesn't matter how long our lives, how beautiful, how lovely, how enjoyable, how fun, how wealthy, how good. The result of sin is still very visible. After life, there is death. And so too, when we disobey God's commands, there is a reality there. You see, and then he died, and then it is repeated. Even after Enoch, there was an Enoch walked with God, and it's for everyone else. It said, and then he died. See verse 20. So Jared lived a total of 962 years, and then he died. Go up, and then he died. For Enoch, it says, and then he was no more, because God had taken him away. Everyone, and then he died. Everyone we see here, and then he died, and then he died, and then he died. For Enoch, and then he was no more. Still, after Enoch, Methuselah lived a total of 969 years, and then he died. A reality of the result of sin. A reality of the result of sin. So we may find a reprieve in our lives after having disobeyed God, after sinning. There may be reprieve. God is gracious, he's kind. This may very well be the grace of God. And there is the reality. And then there is the reality of the punishment, of the result. So, as the scripture was being read, it brought just the reality that there is a result, there is punishment for sin. And it is very evident. It is very evident. And may we take note of this. May we seriously take note.